Hi, thanks for joining me. So I just wanted to do like a 20-minute standing class just to get us up and moving. If you're finding that you're doing more hours sitting, or if you're sitting for longer periods of time because of your home, working from home situation, this one's for you. So with this class you need a wall so that you can back up against it. You don't have to have wingspan, but if you do, great. But you do need a wall that you can back up against, or a door or something. Ideally you have a wooden floor or tiles and a towel, like a small hand towel. At the end of the class I'm going to do, well, to finish the class I'm going to do some work sliding the towel along the floor. So you do need a surface that you can slide on, like tiles or a wooden floor and a hand towel. If that's too hard and you can only find a wall where there's carpet, just skip the last exercises and come back to them at a later time when you can find time where you have a wooden surface or a tile surface. I'm going to be using free weights for the arm work. These are only 1 kilo. You can do this arm work without weights, it's still very effective, but if you do choose to use weights, light weights, so either half a kilo or a kilo, because it will get tiring. Okay, I'm going to just pop these down. Just get you to start with some stretches. So back up against the wall, knees bent, feet are about 1 to 2 feet away from the wall, and you're just leaning on the wall. And you're just going to circle the arms up and down. When you're doing this, I just want you to move. So what that means is just moving through the range of motion. Don't push through any pain. If one feels tighter than the other, don't worry about it. If one has a restricted range of movement but the other one can keep going, just listen to that. I just want it to be non-judgmental movement, whatever your body can do. You don't have to have your arms on the wall the whole way. You can have them just off the wall and in front, that's fine. It's just to move. So you want to breathe in, big stretch, and breathe out. And breathing in. Try and get the shoulder blades to move on the back. The shoulder blades should move like that on your rib cage. They should move out and up, out and in and down, out and up, and then to the sides, in and down. One more, inhale and exhale. Good. Now I'm just going to get you to have a bit of a pec stretch. So I'm placing my hand on the wall, and this is about 3 o'clock. I'm standing with my body, adjacent to the wall, and I'm just going to rotate away from the arm that's on the wall, just to stretch through the front of the chest. Breathing into that right pec, or that pec that's of the hand that's on the wall. And breathing out, just trying to increase the stretch a little bit. You can do it with a bent arm and just put your elbow on the wall. And if it doesn't feel good, change the position of your arm. The higher I go, the more of a stretch I get. The lower I go, the less jammy it feels in my shoulder. So just work into whatever feels good for your body. And it's just a bit of a static stretch, so just holding it still. Each time you breathe out, try and get a little bit more deeply into the stretch. Just one more breath. And then other side. So again, my hand is on the wall at about 3 o'clock. And I'm facing away from the wall, and I'm going to continue to turn away from the hand to increase my stretch. And I'm going to breathe in to the pec that is on the wall. How do you do that? You just think about it. So visualize where the breath is going. And basically you're trying to inflate the lung and the rib cage that is on the side of the arm that's stretching a little bit more. I'm going to put my arm up a little bit higher just to increase that stretch. I'm quite tight just from all the cleaning that has been happening during this time. And I imagine most of us are really tight from all the sitting, from all the homeschooling, from all the whatever it is you've been doing. I imagine you're doing it more. And rest. Okay, I'm going to grab the weights now. So you're going to start with the back up against the wall. You're going to have your knees bent, and it's going to be in a position where your legs are working, but not like a wall squat, because we are going to do a wall squat later. And if you start in a wall squat now, you will get tired and you will struggle later. So I'll just show you on the side. So you're back maybe 4 steps away from the wall. Body is resting on the wall, and my legs are working to hold me here, but they're not struggling to hold me here. They're not overworking. So starting with your feet about 4 feet or 4 steps away from the wall. Think of length up through the crown of the head, length up through the spine. Keeping the chest nice and open, the collarbones wide. So if I think of where my sternum is and where the outside of my shoulder is, I want to try and create space there without pulling my shoulder blades together at the back. So I'm just kind of opening my chest up. So I'm going to take a breath in to prepare. My palms are facing backwards. And as I breathe out, I'm going to lift the arms up to 90 degrees. Breathe in lower. I want you to think about using your upper arm to do the work, not your shoulders. So as you breathe out and lift your arms, your shoulder blades should travel down your back to your back pockets. Breathe out, lift. Breathe in lower. Breathe out to lift. Breathe in lower. Keeping the chest nice and open. Engaging through your abdominals as you exhale. One more, so using your Pilates breath. If you don't know what the Pilates breathing is, have a look there. I've done a video on finding neutral, taking a breath in for me. We're going to do a roll down, so as you breathe out, drop your chin to your chest and peel your spine down the mat, or down the wall I should say. Allow the bum to slide up the wall and stop when the fingertips almost reach the floor, keeping the shoulders away from the ears, letting the head be heavy, breathing in. And as you breathe out, draw your belly button in away from your thighs. Let your bum slide back down the wall as you peel the spine back up onto the wall. So there's another video going through the Pilates breath. So we're going to go out to the side now. So breathe out to lift. If you don't have the space, go on a 45-degree angle. Breathe out. Breathing in. My arms are not on the wall, they're just forward of the wall. You want to try and keep your wrists nice and straight. What that means is that if I think of my knuckles, the big ones that are in my hand, so the start of my fingers, they're facing away from me like a Power Ranger. At least that's what I think of in my head when I'm doing this. I'm going to do 2 more. Breathe out, lift. Shoulder blades drawing down the back, breathing in. Breathe out. Breathing in, and another roll down, breath in, prepare. Breathe out, dropping the chin toward the chest. Try and give each vertebra wall time. So peeling the spine away from the wall, bone by bone, stretching through all the different vertebrae. Letting the bum slide up the wall as you come further toward the floor, shoulders away from the ears, breath in, head heavy. Breathe out, tummy draws in away from the thighs, pelvic floor arm, and you allow the bottom to slide down the wall, keeping shoulders away from the ears as you peel the spine back up the wall, bone by bone. So I'm putting my head on the wall, but actually you really don't need to. And you don't have to have every bone of your vertebra on the wall when you're in your neutral position, because your spine is curved, so you should have a gap behind your lower back and a gap behind your neck. So we're going to draw circles now, so breathe out, arms come up at the center, inhale out to the side and down, breathe out, lift. Keeping the shoulders nice and open, keeping the collarbones wide. Your shoulders should be buoyant in the sockets. So the shoulder blades are always drawing down the back as you lift up and take the arms out and in. But your shoulder joint, so the outside where the ball and socket is, should feel buoyant. So it shouldn't feel like it's jammed towards the floor or towards your ears. One more, breathe out, lift, side and down, other way. Breathe out to go out to the side, center and down. Breathe out, palms face you as your arms go up. Face the floor as you come back to center and face the wall as you go down. So you've got to turn your hands when they're at the wall. Breathing out. Breathe out. Last one, breathe out to lift. Center, down. Let the weights draw the shoulder blades down the back, breath in. Rolling down, chin to chest. Peeling the spine away from the wall, bone by bone. Doing a roll down against the wall is quite a lot safer because it's not as much loaded flexion, letting the bum slide up the wall. It's not as much load on your lower back. Breathing in at the bottom. Breathe out, tummy in. That being said, you still need to support your spine with your abdominals strongly. Rolling up. Okay, I'm going to pop the weights down now. I'm going to go into the wall sit. So your setup position, what you want is to have about a 90-degree angle at your hip and your knee. And I want you to make sure that your knees are either in line with your ankles or a little bit behind your ankles. I don't want your knees to be in front of your ankles. So you have to walk your feet away from the wall. The other thing that I want you to try and do is get your lats, these muscles, turned on. So we'll start by just trying to activate those. So just press your hands into the wall like that. And then I'm going to have my head on the wall, but you don't have to. I just want you to roll your shoulders back in their sockets and down. And think about lengthening between your pubic bone and your breastbone. So your ribs will actually lift up a little bit or lengthen up a little bit, but I don't want you to pop them out. So you're just creating space by lengthening your breastbone toward the roof, but not letting go. You're still engaged through your abdomen while you're allowing length. Hands are on the wall, shoulders are back, and I want you to think of reaching your arms down toward the floor gently and then pressing the wall away. When you press the wall away, you should feel like the back of your ribs are pressing forward toward the front of your ribs, but the front of the ribs are staying connected, so they're not popping out. You should feel that through the back of your waist. That muscle, like the easiest way to explain it, if you think of a swimmer, how they have like a V shape, the back, the wing there, that's your lat. Okay, so feet are a little bit wider than hip width, so maybe shoulder width, and a little bit of turn out is okay, or just parallel is fine too. And you're gonna walk your feet forward and then slide down the wall. Find that position where your lats are switched on and you have really length up through the crown of the head. And then we're just going to hold it here, breathing in and out. When I first started, I feel like I had no leg muscles whatsoever, but only until recently could I do this for longer than 30 seconds. It is very tough. So we're going to go for a minute. If you need a break, stop. Or if you're really struggling with this, just go up a bit higher. The lower you go, the harder it is. What I want you to think about in this position is, where is your pelvis? Is it even at the front, at the back? Do you have length even through the sides of your waist? Just try and feel what's your pelvis doing. Think about a little bit of opening the inner thighs toward the roof to get those glutes to turn on a little bit, and push down into the floor as if you're trying to push the floor down, not yourself up. I know it's the same thing, but it is quite a different feeling. You should feel more happening through your glutes and through the insides of your knees. So you've got 5 seconds. And then you're gonna walk your feet in, come back up the wall, and we're gonna do a roll down. Breathing in, so feet are about 1 to 2 feet away from the wall, and as you breathe out, dropping your chin to your chest, peeling the spine down, bone by bone, allowing the bottom to slide up the wall, stopping when the fingertips almost reach the floor, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale. And as you exhale, draw your tummy in, up away from your thighs, and peel the spine back up. Bum slides down, bone by bone. We're going to do that one more time. I know it's tough. So stepping forward, feet are a little bit wider, so about shoulder width. A little bit of turn out is okay. Trying to keep the pelvis in the right alignment. It's really hard to know by feel what your pelvis is doing. So a few tips from me are which side of my bum feels like it's more on the wall. Just try then to lengthen the opposite knee. So if you feel like your right side is more on the wall, stretch your left knee forward and vice versa. And if you feel like your left bum is closer to the floor, lengthen your right bum and vice versa. But you don't really need to do too much. Like if you feel like your right side is more on the wall and you need to lengthen your left, it's a very small movement. And vice versa, so you're not dropping like that, you just sort of, maybe just visualize it. Arms back on the wall, shoulders rolled back and down, coming down into that wall sit position, holding it here, breathing in. And as you exhale, think about lengthening the back of the neck up toward the roof, like you're trying to stretch your head off your body. Inhale, exhale, abdominals on. Think of the inside thighs spinning away from each other up toward your face. Inhale. Exhale, pressing back into the wall, back of the ribs toward front of the ribs. Pushing the floor down with the feet, like you're trying to drive the floor into the ground. Breathing in, breathing out. Nearly there. One more breath. Inhale, back of the lungs, side of the ribs. And exhale, use your pelvic floor and abdominals to support you as you walk back up. Okay, I'm going to move the mat now. Grab my towel. I'm going to place the towel down on the floor. So this exercise is moving the leg out and in while trying to stay stationary on one side. So the side that is stationary is the side that is working. Again, like with the wall sit, I want you to try not to move forward with your weight and your knee. I want you to try and use the hinge of the hip to bring your weight backwards. Your knee will still bend, but you're not moving into it. I might stay on the side for the first couple, or for the first side. So I'm going to do this on the right with my right leg. So feet are parallel. I'm going to turn out the moving leg because that allows me to feel my glutes a little bit more rather than just dragging from my inner thigh. If you feel like you actually feel more glutes with your foot in parallel, keep it in parallel. The stationary leg is going to stay in parallel. I'm going to move the foot that's on the towel out to the side as I bend down and sit into my right glute. So hands can either be behind the back, reaching forward, or just, I like to put my hand, one hand on my lower back, one hand on my tummy, just to sort of give myself some tactile feedback of what my pelvis is doing. So breathing in, and as I breathe out, I'm going to go out to the side with that towel leg, squatting down into the right glute, and I'm going to push the floor down. Use the breath to lift up. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale down. Sitting into that glute. I want you to think about Really sticking your bum out. Pitching it backwards and pushing the floor away to come up. 2 more. Inhale, reach the left leg to the side and up. Inhale, down. Then I'm going to go backwards with that leg that's on the towel, with the left leg for me. So breathe in, take it back, body weight goes back with it. Breathe out to come up. Breathing in. Breathe out. Up. Trying to keep the pelvis neutral. So now I'm changing my hand position because I can get a bit more feedback with my hands on the sides of my pelvis. Inhale. Exhale. Drive through that right leg to come back into standing. 2 more. Breathing in. Breathe out. Breathing in. I'll turn and face you for the other side. So changing legs, slight turn out with the tail leg. I'm going to go straight back into that left glute as my right leg goes out to the side. Breathing in, down. Breathe out. Breathing in. Trying to keep my pelvis really neutral, which is actually really challenging for someone who's very mobile in this exercise, which is very one-sided. Body weight reaches back, drive through the floor. Last one. We're going to go backwards with that right leg. Take the body weight back into that left glute and up. I'm just going to move forward a bit. Inhale back. Inhale back. Make sure that you keep the left hip back as you go backwards with that right leg. Dragging that left heel into the floor. It's a bit wobbly. 3 more. Inhale down, exhale, up. Last one, breathing in. Breathe out, down, and up. And just inhale. Arms reach up and out to the side. And exhale. And acknowledge yourself for getting up and moving. Enjoy your day.